So explain why a random okay, we answered this one as well. I'll just go through it quickly. While a random GH level is often inadequate for diagnosing GH deficiency. So it is inadequate because growth hormone is not stable, so you can't rely on it. You can't just perform a random test on growth hormone because it's so unstable. Okay, and the other reason is that you wouldn't know whether a person is just from eating. So if the person is just from eating, meaning they will have high glucose, and high glucose will lower growth hormone. So one is not stable. The other reason is growth hormone is secreted in a pulsatile manner, meaning it varies throughout the day and it's at its peak during the night time. So a random growth hormone level is inadequate. Okay. Okay, we go to this other part. Okay, so compare isolated growth hormone deficiency with panhypopituitarism. Okay, so let me explain what this means first. Okay, so panhypopituitarism, this one simply means total or the sum, or it means everything. So hypopituitarism is where, so pituitarism comes from the pituitary gland. So this is a condition where all the hormones from the pituitary gland are affected, or they are low. Hypo means low. So meaning total reduction in all the pituitary hormones. This is what this condition means. So compare isolated growth hormone. So isolated growth hormone deficiency, it is a case where growth hormone secretion alone is impaired. So they are different. This one, it's where only growth hormone is not being secreted, but panhypopituitarism is where all the hormones in the pituitary are not secreted. So meaning the rest of the hormones, such as the thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, luteinizing hormone, and follicle stimulating hormone, these will be normal, except for growth hormone. Okay, except for growth hormone. Okay, then okay, for so question 4, discuss the role of insulin growth factor 1 in mediating the effects. Okay, we already said that when growth hormone is secreted, it acts on the liver cells. Okay, it acts on the liver cells. Okay, I don't know why it's becoming slow. And the liver cells are the ones now that will secrete insulin growth factor 1. Okay, so once the insulin growth factor 1 is produced, this is the one now that is going to carry out all the growth promoting effects. Okay, meaning it's going to cause growth on the bones, it will induce protein synthesis. Okay, anything that has to do with growth will be done by IgA. Fine. Okay, so that's what it does. Then we go to question 5. Outline the potential benefits, the rationale and the limitations of initiating growth hormone therapy in a child. Okay, so now if a child has got low growth hormone, let's say they conduct some tests and they discover that the child doesn't have growth hormone, so they can prevent that child from becoming a dwarf. because if they conduct tests and they realize that uh, at some point you can see maybe your baby is not growing any taller, okay, so they can pick it up that there's something wrong. So in order to prevent that child from becoming a dwarf, they can give the person a growth hormone, okay, or they can do growth hormone therapy. So what will happen is that before puberty, that child can grow normally, okay, so it can improve the height of the child, okay, which can also reduce the psychological outcomes that come as a result of dwarf, okay. So growth hormone therapy replaces the deficient hormone and stimulates the IGF production. That's how it works, okay. So once IGF is released, meaning growth will take place normally, okay. And then the limitation is just that it's high cost and the person will need a daily injection of growth hormone, okay. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. We move, okay. So we have questions again here. These are also multiple choice.
You didn't answer this.
These ones, I don't know, I forgot again, but are they not the same ones?
No.
Let's see. They look almost the same. Okay, maybe we can.
I went through them. They are different.
They are different, eh?
Hmm.
Okay, let's go through them just quickly. There are only a few. Okay, so which of the following best explains? Okay, we've already talked about this one, eh? Why random growth hormone levels are not reliable. So it is because it is secreted in a positive and episodic manner. Okay, so that's one reason why it's not reliable to test for growth hormone. So they would rather test for insulin growth factor. Insulin growth factor 1. Okay. So this one can tell us whether there is a problem with the growth hormone or not, okay, because this one is stable. It remains in the blood for a longer period of time. You can do the test at any time you want. Number 2, which hormone is primarily responsible for inhibiting? Okay, so the hormone that can inhibit.
What does that word mean?
Which one?
At pause down.
Oh, this one. Okay, so this one simply means that it is secreted. The secretion is not constant. The secretion of growth hormone is not constant. That's what it means. Eh? It's released in pauses. Okay. So it's not constant, meaning it's just released in pauses, actually during the day, but it's at its peak during the night time. Okay, we go to 2. Which hormone is responsible for inhibiting? So the only hormone that can inhibit growth hormone is somatostatin. Okay, this one can inhibit growth hormone. Once it is released, it will inhibit the production of growth hormone. But also increased IGF can reduce growth hormone levels by feedback mechanism. Okay, so the way these hormones behave, it's like this. You have a growth hormone releasing hormone. This one is what causes growth hormone to be released. Wow, somatostatin. Okay, so the way it is like this. Growth hormone releasing hormone promotes or it causes the release of growth hormone, while somatostatin inhibits the release of growth hormone. But also, when you have increased insulin growth factor 1, it can stop growth hormone. How? By inhibiting growth hormone releasing hormone, by negative feedback. So this simply acts by stopping the release of growth hormone releasing hormone. The same thing that should promote growth hormone release growth hormone release. Okay, so this is how this does. So this one inhibits growth hormone release. This patient normal levels of let's see, normal levels of other pituitary hormones. So if other pituitary hormones are normal and growth hormone is the one that is not normal, so we call that isolated growth hormone deficiency. Okay, if all other pituitary hormones are just fine. Okay, 4, we go to 4. Growth hormone promotes linear growth meaning growth that makes us tall in the vertical direction.
Number 3, you said what's the answer?
Number 3, just a minute. Oh, I said it's isolated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, isolated the growth hormone deficiency. Okay. And number 4. Okay, so growth hormone. Number 4, we're saying growth hormone promotes linear growth mainly through what? So linear growth is the growth that is there in the long bones, the type of growth that makes us to be tall. So increased calcium reabsorption, okay, direct action on the bone tissue, stimulation of IGF production, activation of insulin receptors. Okay, so since we're talking about growth of long bones and the growth of long bones, so there is direct action on the bone, okay, because it's direct action on the bone. This one, it's not really true, because sometimes the answer A would have made sense maybe when during bone formation, okay, maybe healing of bone fractures. Yes, those they need calcium. Okay. A commonly used test to evaluate growth hormone reserve. So it's let's see. Okay, a commonly used test to evaluate growth hormone reserve. Okay, so this one will be the glucagon stimulation test. This is because growth hormone has got that anti-insulin effect. Okay, so the glucagon stimulation test can be used to evaluate for growth hormone. Okay, now I'm not sure about these other questions. Mr. Ngala, he says you should go through everything, because most of these, some of them, they are mostly for those guys who are doing clinicals.
It's like this page. It's not just for biomed.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't it teach the doctors?
Yes, I'm sure he just teaches you the same thing.
Yeah, because I hear that it teaches the doctors, wako dental.
Mm,
So it's like things are mixed up. Maybe we just follow what just talks about endocrine.
okay. Yeah, this is also endocrine. We also had the same issues to give us these things that are not part of biomed.
Yeah, because these scenarios are they not for doctors?
They're the ones who are supposed to be.
Ah, this man, no.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, let's go through, but I don't think he can get these questions and test you guys. Let's just
Maybe
stop.
just concentrate on Mashan, MCQ.
Yeah, MCQs are okay, but also these ones, they can help you at least to have just a broader understanding.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now I'm just seeing a lot of these things are on growth hormone. I want us to do also on other endocrine. We've just been talking about growth hormone. Okay. Okay, let's try to go through these multiple choice here.
For this you answered, right?
Yeah, these they have got answers. Okay, which of the following best describes the primary hypothalamic regulator of growth hormone? So from the hypothalamus releases growth hormone releasing hormone. Okay, so the way you should always, I'm sure you already understand this. The hypothalamus, it is the one that actually induces the secretion of all the hormones in the body. So initially, before they discovered that it was the hypothalamus, it was known that the pituitary gland, it was previously called the master gland, because they believed that it's the gland that causes the secretion of all the hormones. So the way it is if we have the brain, okay, then after the brain there's the neck region. Okay, then after the neck you have the pancreas. Okay, after the pancreas you have so let's say there, sorry, before that there is there are kidneys. There are kidneys, two of them. So on the kidneys you have two glands as well. On the neck you have got a gland, the thyroid. In the here you have got the hypothalamus and the pituitary. After the two kidneys, in females you're going to have ovaries. In males you're going to have the testes. So these are the main endocrine organs. So endocrine glands. So here the thyroid. Here you have the pancreas for insulin and glucagon. Here you've got adrenal glands. The adrenal glands. Okay, the ovaries also, and the testes. These also produce hormones. So the hypothalamus is just it's very very small small part of the brain. Also the pituitary is really very small. So the hypothalamus, the hormones that it releases, if you look at them, all of them they have the word releasing, and then if you look at the hormones from the pituitary gland, a lot of them they have the word stimulating. Okay, so for example, these hormones that are here: growth hormone releasing hormone, thyrotropin releasing hormone, corticotropin releasing hormone. So all these are coming from the hypothalamus. And what do these hormones do? They cause the pituitary to release its stimulating hormones. For example, thyroid stimulating hormone will be released. Its job is to stimulate the thyroid gland. Okay. Also, there will be adrenocorticotropic hormones.
Michael,
Uh,
I want to ask you. So on the anterior side,
mm,
no, posterior.
on the
So
posterior, yes.
posterior, yeah, there are just two, ADH and oxytocin.
Yes, yes. On the posterior part, there is just ADH and the oxytocin. But
Are these the ones that has got 9 amino acids
yes, yes, yes.
under arginine?
Yes, under adenine.
Or 12? Oh, okay.
So most of these here, they'll come from the anterior. The pituitary is just two, oxytocin and the antidiuretic hormone. So these are called trophic hormones. the one that I said stimulating hormones, they're also called trophic hormones because they cause growth of other hormones. Okay, they cause growth of other hormones. So this one, which was previously known as the master gland, they discovered that also it's under regulation from the hypothalamus. Okay, so that's what we call the primary hypothalamic regulator. Okay, it's the hypothalamus that regulates the production of all these hormones. Okay, we go to the other question here. Which of the following hormones is a major mediator growth promoting effects? Okay, we've already talked about this. It mediates the functions of growth hormone. A stimulation test often required to diagnose growth hormone deficiency. Okay, we answered this one in the previous MCQ, glucagon stimulation test. In a patient with panhypopituitarism, okay, so panhypopituitarism, there will be all of them will be low. Okay, all of them will be low. This means just total reduction in all the pituitary hormones. Okay, so now if the pituitary hormones are low, it means even the other hormones that are under regulation from the pituitary will also be low. Okay, will also be below. Okay, which of the following is not a typical clinical manifestation of adolescent GH deficiency? Okay, okay, not a clinical adolescent. Okay, so it's excessive longitudinal growth. Okay, this one it's more on longitudinal growth is more on found mostly in acromegaly. Okay, in adult individuals. Hypothalamic hormone primary stimulates growth hormone release. I think it's just a repetition. Okay, it's this one. Which hormone primarily inhibits growth hormone secretion? Yeah, somatostatin. Okay, in GH deficiency due to a primary tumor, which of the following lab results is most likely? Okay, when the growth hormone deficiency, okay, meaning also IGF-1 will be low together with growth hormone. I think most of these they're just repeating. Okay, I'm sure we can answer them. We've talked about them. Yeah, most of these on growth hormone we've covered them. Okay, some of them are just repetitions. See if I can find something that's different. Okay, I think this one I just talked about growth hormone in this paper. Most of them are talking about growth hormone. Let's see, this one is what? Okay, I think the others, maybe for thyroid, the glucocorticoids, I think I made them in a different paper because I can't see them here.
You mean all these up to 54 is just growth hormone?
I think this is when I'm seeing the ones for thyroid here. Okay. Yeah, I think we can talk about these ones here.
Did you also learn about what's this? I don't know if he taught you or what. Is it pineal gland?
Oh, the pineal gland. Yeah, it's there also in the is it in the brain?
I'm not sure why to some bisha or what because I've never seen any questions parapanani or pa channel yao.
That one, yeah. They don't usually talk about it so much. Okay, I think we can do these questions. At least they are on. At least they talk about the thyroid. We've talked about growth hormone. So what is the role of the sodium iodide transporter? Okay, so we talk about the thyroid gland. So the thyroid gland secretes T3 and T4. So T3 and T4, for them to be made, they need iodide, and this iodide needs to go into the cells of the glands. So there is a transporter called a sodium iodide symporter. It's the one that will transfer iodine into the gland. Okay. So it is located on the basolateral membrane of the thyroid follicular cells. So it transports iodide from the bloodstream into the cytoplasm. This iodide, it is responsible for converting tyrosine, which is an amino acid, to these two hormones. Okay, so they are made from tyrosine. So iodine is very very important in this case. Okay, we talk about iodide transport from the bloodstream to follicular lumen and raw. Okay, so we are saying iodide needs to find itself in the cytoplasm of the thyroid gland. Okay, and this is done by the iodide transporter. Okay, so now they are asking what is the role of pendrin. Okay, so pendrin is a chloride iodide exchanger. It exchanges chlorine and iodide. So these are two elements that are found in group 7 of the periodic table. Okay, so this pendrin simply exchanges chlorine for iodide. Okay, and iodide is the one that will be used for the synthesis of these hormones. Okay, the role of thyroid peroxidase. Okay, so the role of thyroid peroxidase, it's found in the synthesis of the hormones T3 and T4. Okay, so this is the hormone that is found within the follicular cells of the thyroid gland. Okay, so its main job, it catalyzes the reaction or the iodination. So the part where tyrosine, okay, becomes iodo from iodotyrosine. Okay, now these things are just they are too detailed, it's not that necessary. Okay, so when iodine is iodinated, so this is where the TPO enzyme works. Okay, so it is responsible for changing tyrosine to iodotyrosine. The iodotyrosine now is the one that is then taken up into formation of the thyroid hormones. So TPO, oxidation of iodide, okay, and then it is iodinated to tyrosine residues. Okay, so that's the function of TPO. The thyroglobulin in hormone production. Okay, so thyroglobulin is a protein which is made by the cell in the Golgi apparatus, and then it will be secreted into the follicular domain. So it will find the chemical reaction already taking place. The hormones T3 and T4 are already taking place. Okay, so it serves simply as a scaffold. Okay, so it's more like a protein that receives iodine here and receives tyrosine here. Okay, so it acts more like a scaffold to couple these two together so they can form iodotyrosine. Okay, so that's the job. So this thyroglobulin is very important because that is where the tyrosine residues are found, and that is where the iodine is going to attach to. So it acts more like a meeting place for tyrosine and iodine. Okay, mechanism of thyroid hormone release. Okay, so thyroid hormone release, after these hormones are formed, okay, they'll be kept within the thyroid gland. And what does the thyroid gland wait for? It waits for the pituitary gland to secrete TSH, and this TSH to come in. It's also waiting for thyrotropin releasing hormone from the hypothalamus. Okay, so this stimulates this, and this stimulates this, and then T3 and T4 will be released. Okay, so they wait. So upon stimulation of TSH, okay, these hormones they will be released. You don't need to go into so much details that are being explained here. Okay, so the mechanism of thyroid hormone release is this. So the hypothalamus will secrete thyrotropin releasing hormone, which causes the pituitary gland to release TSH, and then TSH acts on the thyroid gland, and then T3 as well as T4 will be released. Okay. So changes in thyroid hormone synthesis during iodine deficiency. So remember, we said iodine is very, very important. So if it is absent, like there are people who have iodine deficiency, and you see a lot of these people, they will develop a goiter. Okay, they will develop a goiter, and the reason is because the body will tell that especially T4 is not there in the body. Okay, T4 is one that decreases so much, so the body will tell. So the body will think like maybe there is no TSH, because TSH is the one that causes this thyroid gland. Okay, the thyroid gland, TSH causes it to release T4. So if T4 is low, the body will think that TSH is not there. So it will release more of TSH, and TSH will keep stimulating this gland. As a result, this gland will start growing in size. Okay, because this is a trophic hormone, it causes growth of other glands. This will now form a goiter. Okay, so changes in thyroid hormone synthesis in iodine deficiency, there will be low T3 and T4 as well. Okay, so a goiter will be formed due to TSH stimulation. Okay, a goiter will form. Okay, the role of intrathyroidodeiodinase in iodide conservation. Okay, now these questions.
This one.
These questions are just too detailed.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, they are too detailed.
Even this one.
They are very too detailed. I don't know, he was going now away from endocrine. He's going into the reactions taking place within the gland.
Maybe this.
Yeah, these ones, yes. So hormone, which is a primary regulator of the thyroid gland, it's TSH. Okay. Immediate effects of TSH on the thyroid cells include all of the following. So what does it do? It does everything except, because this one is supposed to cause the release of thyroid glands, so it shouldn't inhibit TPO activity. Okay, this one shouldn't be inhibited. Okay, we have this condition, the Wolff-Chakoff effect. Okay, so the Wolff-Chakoff effect is simply when there is suppression of the thyroid hormone synthesis due to excess iodide. So now remember, iodide is really important for formation of the hormones, but then having too much iodide again will suppress these thyroid hormone synthesis by negative feedback. Which of the following is not an intermediate effect of TSH on the thyroid gland? So yes, it will increase iodine uptake because it's needed. Upregulation, yes, we need the thyroglobulin to act as a binding, okay, for tyrosine and iodide. Upregulation, yes, we also need receptors. Upregulation talks about receptors, okay, for the syn-porter, sodium iodide syn-porter, and also TPO genes for this enzyme. Okay, so the exception is this one, increased protein synthesis. Okay. Okay. We talk about so thyroid hormone regulates TSH secretion by. So now thyroid hormones, after they are released, they can also, remember, this one causes these to be released, but again these, they can stop this if they're in high amounts, right? Negative feedback. So remember, everything that, the thing that produces the hormone can also stop its secretion, right? So here they're just talking about negative feedback. Okay, so once T3 as well as T4 are released, they can also stop TSH, the same hormone that causes them to be released. This is negative feedback. So, but then when you go into details, or what these hormones do, they decrease the binding sites for TSH. So decrease TSH beta subunit gene expression. Now this is again just too detailed. Okay. But the whole concept here is negative feedback. Okay, but then they're just explaining it in terms of genetics. Okay, because it's the genes that form these receptors. Okay, they are proteins, so gene expression is expression of proteins. So this is what happens, is happening at DNA level, but we can just say it's negative feedback that does it. Okay. In starvation, the plasma levels of which hormone decrease significantly. So in starvation, T3 would decrease, okay, because these are mainly produced after you eat for metabolism. Which enzyme in the pituitary thyrotropes allows for sensitive feedback regulation? Okay, so we have this type 2 dehydrogenase, the one that has to do with the iodination again of so di iodinase, it has to do with
You said
iodinase,
the one has to do with what?
iodine into the iodine into the what, the thyroid gland.
Okay.
Mm. Chronic stimulation of TSH causes goiters, so hyperplasia and hypertrophy, we know what these mean, so
Which one?
hyperplasia and hypertrophy.
I've forgotten.
Okay, so this, it's just the cells increasing in number and in size. Hyperplasia is when the cells increase in number. Hypertrophy is when the cells increase in size. So this is how a goiter is formed. So the cells inside the thyroid gland will begin increasing in number and also
Which
increase.
one increases in number? Hypertrophy,
Hyperplasia.
hyperplasia.
Yes, hyperplasia increase in number.
Mm-hmm.
Then hypertrophy, just they decrease in size or increase in size. Sorry, I was looking at this when I was saying decrease in size, because this one is the decrease in size. Atrophy.
Mm.
Mm. So, okay. These questions are too details. A goiter associated with hyperthyroidism is typically seen in which condition? Okay, it is in Graves' disease.
I'm sure you can ask under thyroid gland.
Yeah, these ones you can ask them, especially on the session. Ingestion of excess carbohydrates leads to which of the following? Okay, yeah, increased glucose leads to increased T3 concentration. Okay. Okay. Describe the immediate, intermediate, and long-term effects of TSH on the thyroid gland. So the thyroid gland, remember, let's see, this is the size. So if it's constant under stimulation, remember, there will be hyperplasia and the hypertrophy. So now, long-term effects, they will cause growth. Okay. Immediate term reflex, they'll simply cause increased in receptors. Okay. While the short-term growth, they'll just increase uh, iodine into the cell. Okay. So the short-term, immediate, meaning just very very short term, minutes to hours, it's just uptake of iodine. It will cause the uptake of iodine to form T3 and T4. Though something that can take a bit of time, it's upregulation of receptors. Okay. And also at DNA level now, encoding. Okay. So when the DNA is now getting the information, the way it takes place, DNA contains all the information that is needed, information of proteins. So this messenger RNA comes in, gets that information, takes it to the ribosomes, and the ribosomes now, they start making amino acids, joining up amino acids, forming proteins. So this is what will happen. So it will start formation of these proteins, thyroglobulin. Also the enzymes are protein in nature. So TPO, thyroid peroxidase, and also the syn porter, it's a protein, transmembrane protein. Okay. So this is an immediate effect. Okay. Can take some hours to days. Okay. Then you have the long-term effect now. Okay, which is one I've talked about. Growth of the gland, hyperplasia and hypertrophy. That's why when you find somebody they have a goiter, it means this is something. The stimulation usually was long-term effect that will cause hypertrophy and hyperplasia of the thyroid gland, increasing its size. Okay. You're not taking immunology. It's at fourth year.
Yeah, who was teaching you?
Dr. Mwawa. What? But you are taking, is it what? That one? It's genetics. It's genetics, eh?
We are doing molecular biology
Okay, okay, all right, okay.
with Dr. Mlemba. Is the one who was teaching you?
No, it was Doctor. Is Dr. Mwawa, is he even available?
I think we were full time.
Oh, aye, okay. Okay, this Wolff-Chakoff effect is found in people that take in a lot of iodine. And this iodine now will cause the decrease in T3 and T4. Okay. Okay, we don't need to understand how this is taking place, but this is what happens. Okay. Discuss how thyroid hormones exert negative feedback. Okay. So when T3 and T4 are made, they will inhibit thyrotropin releasing hormone, meaning there will be no TSH. Okay, this will be stopped. That's one thing. So they decrease TRH synthesis and release from the hypothalamus. Again, at DNA level, they work on these cells, pituitary thyrotropes, where there is expression of TSH subunit gene expression. This will take place at DNA level. Also modulating of type 2 dioadenase activity. Okay. List, okay, so this one's a good question here. List the different causes of goiter and indicate. Yeah. So the primary or the common cause of goiter is iodine deficiency. Okay. Now this will take place over a long period of time. For even a goiter to be formed as a result of iodine deficiency, this will take place over a period of time. Sometimes it could be Graves' disease. This one is a bit quicker because this one it just has to do with a certain antibody that is produced into. You remember this antibody thyroglobulin. Okay. Thyroglobulin. immunoglobulins, okay, they are released, and these they cause the stimulation of the thyroid gland. So these antibodies that are released, they perform the same function such as TSH. So these two, they're almost being caused by the same thing. It's due to stimulation of the thyroid gland, which makes it to increase in size. Except in Graves' disease, you should also look for um, is it what? Thyroid stimulating immunoglobulins. Yeah, it is TSI. So in Graves' disease, you should look for TSIs, and because these are the antibodies that are secreted, they are called thyroid stimulating immunoglobulins. Okay, so this is what you look for in Graves' disease. In iodine deficiency, it's just this and the iodine itself that is deficient. So the two markers that will help you identify. Then Hashimoto's thyroiditis. This is as a result of this distraction in the thyroid gland. So the thyroid gland, there is distraction. Okay, the immune system attacks its own gland. So this will cause uh, lower production of T3 and T4. Unlike here, the antibodies here, they'll stimulate the gland. Here, the antibodies will destroy the cells inside here. Okay. As a result, there will be high TSH, which will cause growth of this gland, thinking that there's a problem here. Then you also have multi-nodular goiter. Okay. This one is when there's a growth of some nodules into the thyroid gland. Usually they are called euthyroid or hyperthyroid. Okay. Then thyroid neoplasm. Okay. Um, this is when the same nodules that will be grown here. Okay. They can cause swelling of the of the of the thyroid gland. Okay, but the most common causes of goiter and types of goiter are these here. Okay, the most common types.
And then those two.
These are less common. These two, they are very rare. Okay. Explain how nutritional status. Calorie intake or prolonged fasting influences thyroid hormone levels. Okay. So during fast, these hormones they will be low. After eating, they are enhanced. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think this is just a repetition again. Okay, so maybe we can leave this document for now. We look for questions. Maybe we can just be following. We've tackled so much of growth hormone. We've tackled much of the growth hormone, and these ones found on the neck. Maybe we can look for questions that are talking about the cortisol, those hormones from the adrenal glands. Okay.
Where have we ended?
We've ended on, this is just a repetition. I think I just repeated some of these. They're the same
Oh
questions
yeah.
down.
Uh, or even these are repeated.
Yeah, I just repeated. Okay, then we'll look for questions, especially on the glucocorticoids.
Oh, I'm sure maybe they are there down.
Yeah, just checking the channel. So because we have to cover the
No,
adrenal.
I mean here. Maybe you answered them.
No, in here, no, they are not there.
So what we have covered.
We've only
Oh, so
covered
what we
the.
have covered is adrenal gland.
Yes, we've just covered the
No, we have
pituitary.
covered adrenal gland. Yeah, even adrenal gland, thyroid, and Mm, there is a thyroid. There is that one. PTH is what?
PTH, parathyroid, yes.
Thyroid. Yes,
Mm.
we have covered that one. Adrenal glands,
Mm.
pancreas.
Mm.
They should be five. I've mentioned five, right?
Yes. Mm.
Yeah, so the pancreas we have covered, adrenal gland we have covered. Pancreas is not the one has to do with the insulin.
Yes, insulin and glucagon.
Yeah, we have covered that one.
Mm.
The hypothalamus, the hormones.
Mm.
Mm,
Okay, so we should so the adrenal is split into three parts. Right?
okay.
Yeah. So we also need to do there are those that control salt, there are those that control hormones and the androgens. Eh? Okay, but I'll find the questions. I'll send them to you so that you can go through.
Oh, you have them?
I'll check in your channel. I'm sure they are there.
Oh,
Mm.
because an up to me, it's like everything you answered except the ones you sent for reproductive system.
Mm.
Yeah, but anyway, you can just go through. Maybe I missed them somewhere.
Mm. Mm.
Mm. Because
Okay.
the past papers that I have, most of them they cover this topic that we have not done.
Mm.
What topic is this? Earplasty.
Uh, the
Yeah,
neurophysiology.
yeah.
Okay.
Like the past papers that I have that I was given, most of them covers the neuro and digestion, like
Mm.
the one we did in second year. Yeah, they for endocrine they are there, but they are few.
Yeah, yeah. Mm. But I'm sure he's not going to reach up to. That has been slow.
It looks like he's done.
Yeah,
Reproductive system is
yeah.
done.
I'm sure he's done.
And that one mostly is it not just for doctors?
Mm. Yeah, that one not much applied in the lab.
Oh,
Mm.
okay. Yeah, that's it. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll show you what we have covered up. I think I've got a list.
All right.
Mm. Okay, thank you.
Okay.